Let me ask you about this. What do you prefer more, watching or reading manga?
I used to like doing both when I used to keep up on manga,
Hmm.
like physical copies. I never owned one of those Kindles,
Yeah.
and like I didn't have like a smartphone like this when I was young. I had like a flip phone, and I never had like a smartphone until I actually had a job. So like I couldn't watch or read stuff on my own online. So like I know that the manga has incredible storyline, incredible uh illustrations,
Hmm.
and they show everything that you wish wanted to know in the animes. Because like a 24 episode anime or a 12 episode season anime is like 60 volumes or like
Yeah.
27 volumes worth of manga, which if you have a favorite character, guess what? You're going to know their whole backstory.
Yup.
They're
Yup.
not going to show you the backstory on the anime because they cut out all the good stuff. So it's like if I really want to get in depth to a manga, then I would really have to pick one from an anime show that I really enjoy, and then I would read it.
Right.
And then there's a bunch of mangas that they don't have anime of, and then that you wish that they did, and it just takes time to license.
Yeah. That's true. Um. So you prefer more so watching?
Yeah, I do. Like it's sad, the hate that I'd have to admit it, but I do. I really like seeing animation being fluent
Well,
and
there's nothing sad
showing it.
about it. It's
I mean, I'm still reading because I still watch subtitles. Even
Gotcha.
if it's in English, I
Yeah.
still put subtitles on. I
Hmm.
always love having subtitles on now. I mainly got it because of my wife. She's always having subtitles on, and that's how like a lot of TV shows are in the Philippines.
Gotcha.
So she's just like very used to it.
Huh.
And I was like, why the hell do you need subtitles for English? And then now I'm like, this doesn't have subtitles. I'm not watching it.
I hear that. My brother's like that right now too. I'm the opposite when it comes to subtitles. Like, if there's any time where I don't have to put subtitles on, it's like a giant relief for me because I'm a guy that likes to listen a lot. I love. Okay, so get this. I love when it comes to that subject I was asking you about, which I like better. I love watching. I love watching more than reading. There was a fat minute in my life when Naruto was a huge thing when like it was getting into the war and the Akatsuki members were being introduced. I was Dude, I was doing all three. I was watching the next episode. I was reading the manga. Watching the next episode, I already knew what was going on. So I was watching the next episode. I was reading the manga, and I feel like wasn't there a third thing? No, I guess that's all you do when it comes to it. So I would do, yeah, like I said, I would be watching the new episode they released. Oh, English. That's the third thing I was thinking about. So I would watch it because I love Naruto that much. I'd be watching it in English. I'd watch it in Japanese, and I'll go dubbed, and then I'll go read it in the manga, just because I really was so into Naruto. So I've read a lot of Naruto manga, and then when I got my desk job after Santa Fe, at the other hotel, I sat down a lot, and it was during midnight that I would work. So my manager at the time was really cool, and that's when I was reading JoJo's. I was really off put it away from reading it because I really enjoy so I really enjoy animation just cuz like this is the ultimate example I could always give about anime and voiceovering or sub dubbed or subbed. This is the beautiful thing I will say about animation. When I'm watching One Piece is the perfect example for me. When I'm watching One Piece and I have like, ah, man, what was Caesar Clown? I think that's what his name was. He was one of the poison like scientists, but he had a different laugh. But they all had different laugh. Even Brooke from the main group, he had a different laugh too. But Caesar Clown, he was one of my favorite. I think his name was Caesar Clown, he had one of my favorite laughs at all time, and I was watching it with subtitles. So he had one of my favorite laughs at all time. That's when I was watching a lot of One Piece at the time. His laugh was a lot like shuru, like he would go shuru or something like that. I couldn't really do it, but the funny part with that is he would be like, you know, if he's pissed, he'd be like, oh shuru, or he would, you know, excite me shuru, or ha ha shuru. You know, he wouldn't do the ha ha part. His ha ha is his shuru, but he would do that's how he'd laugh. He would laugh at every time he'd say a sentence, and he laughed like that, but he would do it in so many different emotions. To me, that was fantastic. Versus, because I asked my friend 13 Dank, he would read it a lot. That's all he does at this time. He reads, and he chooses like one anime to watch, and at the moment it's been JoJo, so he doesn't watch at the moment because he's caught up. Anyways, so he would read it. So I asked him, hey, Caesar's clowns laugh. Do they type it out? And he was like, "You mean the Zoro?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, cool." He goes, "Yeah, they do. They do have it in the manga." I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool." So you kind of understand, because I was excited about it, and I was telling him about that laugh. I was like, "So you kind of understand what laugh I'm talking about?" So I was telling him, you see, this is why I love animation. I love when it gets animated, because then we hear the voices. I really like hearing voices, because it adds another beauty to the animation. So, you know, me sitting down reading a manga, I'm gonna see Zoro or Shuru. I forgot how he does his laugh. I'm gonna, you know, well, everybody that reads, dude, anybody that reads is speed reading. So they're gonna go read that, they're gonna, oh, Zuru, and then like, oh, I have come to you, blah, 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 blah. Then he does it again, Zuru, Zuru. So you're not gonna get creative in your mind, because you want to speed read and you want to see the art style of it. So when you're watching it in an anime, and when it gets animated, you see the different ways they do it. You see these different fun laughs. Dude, I'm cracking up, not because what he said, I'm cracking up the way he's laughing half the time. So in my opinion, why I love animation is because one of the reasons is how they voice the characters, which is so creative to me. And then obviously the ultimate obvious about animation is how they make the fight scenes, because I love to see how they animated the fight scenes. I love sometimes when I get into the gory stuff and they see the heads chop off and everything. I love to see stuff animated like that.